everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Speaks. I know that this is Friday, and I should have a Xenoblade Chronicles video out, but life happened, and I don't. I probably could have had one if things had transpired a little bit differently, just weird stuff going on. But since I have a couple of viewers who are actively saying, yes, we would like to have some more of this Sasquatch Speak stuff, I feel quite justified in doing this. So today, I actually have a specific topic, not gameplay related. I suppose kind of the whole point of the Sasquatch Speak things, if I'm going to continue on doing them sort of as a separate show rather than just an update for my channel, is to, explain a little bit more about me, what my thought processes are, stuff that happens to me or happens because of me, I guess. Or just things that happen in the world that I happen to either take issue with or want to promote. And I certainly have a notebook full of notes to speak from, which is probably pretty good because and warning for people who are still watching at this point, because it's been awful up till now. It will get better. I just need to kind of find my stride here, because I've never actually just had the freedom to speak about anything at all that occurs to me, and it's kind of a overdose of power, and that will probably be that'll probably be, well, we could talk about that today. Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about why it is probably a good thing that I will never hold public office. I suppose before we get into that, I should mention that I am a business owner. I've owned my own business for about 5 years. There's about 3 years that I took off from it due to illness. People who've been following my channel and the Tripcart podcast are probably at least cognizant of that fact, if not overly aware of all the ins and outs and details. But it's not really an issue anymore because, well, I'm better. And we may get into that sometime in the future, but not today. But being a business owner, I have a dislike. And that's a very soft word for the feeling that I have. I have a dislike for working for other people. It's just, and I know a lot of people don't have this experience, but once you have worked for yourself, once you have gone out and you've said, okay, I understand you all have your own thing going on over here. You're trying to get people to help you build up your wealth and your family's financial future and everything else like that. No disrespect to those people. I'm technically doing the exact same thing as them, but I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm not one of those people who is a part of their system. I am my own system. There are people who benefit from what I do, and if you're in any sort of business, someone better be benefiting from the services or the products or the items, whatever it is that you're offering. Otherwise, you're out of business, because people are not going to give you money for nothing. Just throwing that out there. It's a fact of life. Deal with it. But I have a very strong dislike for putting myself in a position where all I'm doing is trading time for money. I don't want to be paid just once for what I'm doing. I want to be paid for it 12 and 13 and 14 years and 30 and 50 and 150 years into the future. And I think I found a good place to do that. I'm not endorsing what I'm doing over anything. In fact, I'm not even going to tell you what it is that I do in this video. May get into it in the future. This video, off limits. But with that being the case, someone posed me the question, well, what happens if the laws change or something like that, and you're no longer able to do what it is that you do? And I thought I started thinking about that. I'm like, okay, well, there's two things that I would kind of like to do. Number one, very, very shallow, I guess, but something that I think I would have at least a little bit of success in doing if I were to ever try and pursue it or had any idea how to pursue it. One of them, like I said, the first one would be I would really like to get into like some sort of like voice acting or something. I understand I don't really have the best voice for anything. I'm just kind of in that middle range. But I mean, maybe sometime in the future, after, I've made my millions of dollars and I'm just kind of resting on my laurels and watching my bank account roll up, that might be something I might want to just, like, look into for fun, really. Just, like, additional voices provided by Sasquatch. I just think that'd be really kind of a fun thing to do, just be able to get out there and just, because I like to talk. It's just me. I don't even really talk to. I don't really even have to be talking about anything or to anyone. It's just quite apparent by the content of this video. But it's just something that I okay. This gets into another topic. In tangent time, this will be a recurring segment, probably just within this episode. But I have a lot of friends who are artistically gifted. Stoic Deviant is one of them. I have another friend named Tim. Just multitudes of friends who, when you put a pen or a pencil or something in their hand, you hand them paper, they can just, like, doodle on it for 20 minutes. It looks amazing. I'm like, oh my god, how did you do that? You can give me days, literally days, just sitting in front of this paper and pen and erasers and the whole 9 yards, and it's just like, at the end, it's just crap. Literally crap. I used to draw a lot as a kid. Don't anymore. Don't have time. And I figured out that I don't have the talent to do it. But even back then, it's like I realized, okay, I have these other friends, and theirs looked better than mine. So I'll just kind of like hide mine. But I enjoyed it. It was fun. But it's just not something that I ever have excelled at. Not something I ever will excel at. The one thing, though, that I do tend to think I am a little bit better on average than most is words. Not just speaking words. I mean, okay, well, let's start with speaking words. Because everyone, well, not everyone, and then we'll get to that in a second, but most people, when you say, okay, well, we're going to have you speak, and we're going to put you up in front of this crowd of people, first thing that happens to them is, like, heart attack mode. They're having a stroke because they're so nervous that, oh my god, I have to stand in front of people and tell them my thoughts and ideas, and oh, it's going to be the worst thing ever, and I don't know what I'm going to do, don't know what I'm going to say, oh, do I have notes, I need to write everything out, I need to write it out word for word, not just read it off real quick, and then I'll get down, it'll be great, and it'll just, I just don't want to be up there, I don't want to do it, I'm going to throw up, I'm going to puke, pass out, and die. Yeah. Most people, that's their reaction when it actually comes to the point of standing up in front of a room full of people who are there just to hear what you have to say. I'm not like that. When someone says, hey, we want you to speak, I'm like, yes! I just always have been. Even as even as a little kid, this was something that I realized I liked to do. Whenever there was like some sort of a play or something like that, I always like, yes, me, pick me. I want to be the one with the most lines. I want to be the one who's doing everything. Again, as a little kid, no skill, no talent, no nothing, and just wasn't anything that I was particularly good at. I was good at it in that I wanted to do it, and willingness is generally all you really need. If you're willing to put yourself out there, if you're willing to really go for it, it tends to make up for any lack of talent or anything else that you have, just because you're different from everyone else who is like trying to hide behind the scenery, like, I don't want to be up here. But yeah. Also, where was I going? So yeah, words. Speaking words is something that I've always had an affinity for. Not just that, writing, and I don't think I ever wrote a paper for anyone in my entire scholastic career, that got less than like an A-. And those were papers that I just didn't care about at all. It's writing words, any sort of literary or verbal communication is just something that I tend to think and have over the years received feedback from saying, hey, yeah, that is something that you're marginally better at than most people. And I'm like, okay, take that into consideration. I decided, well, if it's something I'm good at, I might as well try and enjoy it. Hence this, really. But yeah, getting back to sort of the subtopic of the main topic that was not the tangent. If I was ever to try and get like a trading time for money sort of position, my first on the list would probably be like voice acting or something. Again, I don't have to be the big star in front of everyone, but I just want to be there. So it's like, hey, yeah, additional voices provided by me. Perhaps a little bit egotistical, but it is what it is. It's something that I find a little bit of fulfillment in, and then getting feedback. I mean, all the comments and stuff that you guys have been providing, both positive and negative. Well, most negative has been coming from my friend Stoic, but yeah, he's awesome, and it's just witty banter sort of stuff like that. It's not really negative, so don't hate on him. And Stoic, don't hate yourself. Yes, don't do that either, and don't hate me, please. But for me, it's not like really an ego trip. It's like, hey, yeah, I something that I said or something that I did was important enough that someone else was like, hey, yeah, I want to take time out of my day to not only listen to it, but to acknowledge that you did well in what you were saying and what you were doing. So that, like I said, voice acting to me would be something that would be really, really fun. The other thing that I was thinking about, hey, if I'm going to be in this place where I'm trading time for money, well, why not trade time for money in a place that would also continue to pay me after I'm done? And that's what I was thinking, hey, politics, let's take a look into that. But that kind of gets into the other point of what happens when I'm actually like in front of people. But right here, I'm in front of a computer screen, I'm watching waveform pop up in Audacity. There's not a lot of audience feedback, direct audience feedback. You guys will probably throw on likes and faves and stuff like that, and comments down below. Please comment down below. But whenever I'm in front of an audience, and there's a really it's a really bad example. It's a really strange example, but it's the best correlation I can give you. And whenever I'm actually in front of people, I just get really, really, really intense, like really deep. I'm like leaning into whatever sort of podium I'm at, and I'm using all the big hand gestures and stuff. And to describe the feeling that I get when I'm actually in that position where I'm addressing someone, I'm not acting something out, I'm actually like, I have something to say and it is for you. Whenever I get into that sort of mode where I'm talking directly at a group of people, the feeling that I get is probably something very akin to like the videos and stuff that you see from 1930s, 1940s speeches given by Adolf Hitler. And I know that's a very bad thing to say, probably, but it's the truth. I really, whenever I'm in that sort of position, I become drunk with power. It's just like, you are all here for me, and so I'm going to deliver whatever it is that I have to say in the most profound and moving and stirring fashion that I can. And people are like, oh, that was the greatest thing ever, and you're so good at speaking and things like that. Okay. And of course, once I get back down, it's like, I try and be a lot more modest about it. At least it's something I put conscious effort into. It's like, hey, I don't even remember what I said. I was just speaking off the cuff. And 9 times out of 10, that is absolutely the truth. I go up there with like 2 lines of notes, and I speak for 20, 30, 40 minutes. It happens. I don't know how it does, but that's not really the point either. Yeah, it's just like I just become like drunk off the power of having people, like a captive audience, and they're all just sitting there and they're waiting for me and they want me to hear it. And I'm like, man, if I could be a politician, I could have people doing this all the time, get paid very well for it. I don't even have to really say anything, because when was the last time a politician actually said anything? Like, legitimately moving. I mean, I think the last like great speech was from like Reagan times, and since then it's all just, well, okay, the last great speech for a positive purpose was from Reagan times. The last great speech for self-preservation was probably Bill Clinton, and that depends on what your definition of is. Yes. Wonderful wordsmithing. it confused everybody just enough that I let him get away with it. Kudos to you, sir. Clap. Yes, very good. That aside, but I think it would be very dangerous of me to be in that sort of position. Not only because I would constantly have that feedback, even negative feedback. I feed off that. It's weird, I know, but to constantly have that sort of feedback right there, I think it'd be very, very dangerous of me, because then, like they say, you start to get to the delusions of grandeur, and what you're doing, what you're saying is more important than what it actually is. And I understand leading the country is a very important thing to do, but there's also a limit to that. There has to be some sort of a limiting factor to keep you from just blowing off into tyrantism and just trying to thumb everyone down into beneath you. It's just probably not the best thing in the world to be trying to do that. Also, I tend to be very militant in some of my approaches to things, like people who I perceive as doing wrong. I don't always have the most tactful way of putting it. And if that aspect of me is also given power over, say, a big red button, that's probably not the best thing in the world either, because zero tolerance. I have very little... I won't say that I'm intolerant. I have a lot of friends who are of very, very different ideologies than me. And, again, I'll probably get into that in a future episode, what my ideologies are. But for right now, it's suffice to say that I have friends who are of vastly different opinions than I am on a great many things. And they are still my friends. They're some of my closest friends, in fact. But remove that friendship that sort of formed before ideology started to come out, and I'm fearful that, given that plus power over, like I said, big red buttons are very tempting to press. Given that sort of opportunity, I'm fearful that I would do something untoward. That's probably the best way to put it. Like I said, I don't intentionally go out of my way to instigate or rile up people about what they have. I certainly have enough opinions that I could do that, and I certainly have enough backing for most of my opinions that I could do that. But I try most of the time to realize that what I have to say isn't always going to be welcome, and it's probably best most times that I keep quiet about it. But again, giving me multiple opportunities with an audience, direct feedback that I can feed off of and just run on and say whatever I want, would probably be a very bad thing. Again, because of my natural inclination is always to just say the first thing that pops into my head. And the first thing that pops into my head is usually something incredibly damaging. And yeah, that's why it's probably a very good thing that I am not, nor do I have any. Well, I don't want to say don't have any plans, but I don't have any direct plans to ever become a politician. Because, like I said, having that sort of power backing up my ideas would probably not be the best thing. Because, well, I don't know. Maybe I could change the world for better. I don't know. But it's not, like I said, within the concept that I have of like right and wrong and good and bad and evil and all that sort of stuff, it's probably best that I stay out of the public sector. Remain in my business, earning money every chance I get. Do that, and hopefully I'll be getting a new computer within the next few weeks, so that all of this technical difficulties regarding regular video output is resolved, and you all can just kind of enjoy that. And I'll throw these in on the side, in between, around the corners, whenever something comes up. And when I say whenever something comes up, I mean I already have 15 or 20 pages of notes that I can draw from. Not all of them are really good topics, but Some of them are pretty interesting. If there's anything in particular that you guys would like to have me talk on, please leave that in the comments down below. Give me your thoughts and ideas on what I've said. Would you vote for me if I was going to office? I know Stoic wouldn't, because he's already told me that. And he says he would actively lead a campaign against me, which would probably not be the worst thing in the world. Always best to hear both sides of an argument. But yeah, leave comments down below. Let me know what you want to see from this, if you want to see more of it. If I'm just rambling on an end and it's boring as all crap, tell me that, and you'll never hear this again. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. If you did enjoy, leave a like rating down below. If not, leave a dislike rating. And, a counter comment to the ones I described. Bad ones are welcome just as well as just good ones. And, yeah. Thank you all for watching. I will see you tomorrow with Monster Hunter episodes. Goodbye.